Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the last video for the night. I'm going to do my NBA mock draft ahead of the 2025 NBA draft. That is tomorrow. So, the week of the draft finally arrived, So, really everything's not about the Duke star Cooper Flagg, who will obviously be selected first overall. Wednesday, shortly after the commissioner takes the stage, after he takes forever to announce the first pick. We've basically known this forever, it feels like, that he's going to be the number one pick. So we've known that for more than a year now, but one thing that's less certain now, and the thing that's getting the most attention, is whether, Ace Bailey will slip outside the top five. Following a pre-draft process that featured 0 team workouts. He just can't feel like every team workout. Some bad quotes I thought he said. Do I think he can be a good player? Yes, but with attitude, kind of rubbing teams the wrong way. And I think Dylan Harper would be the better player regardless. But I don't know, man. The man advising him is Omar Cooper, an ex-convict who isn't even a certified agent. They will say it's unusual for an elite prospect to put his career in the hands of a person who can accurately be described that way. But that's precisely what Bailey's done, for better or worse, if you want to, whatever you want to say. And now must seem to believe he could fall to the Wizards at number 6, maybe, after turning down invitations to work out for multiple franchises picking the top 5. The difference between being selected, say, 3rd or 6th in the 2025 draft is roughly $6 million over the first 2 years of a rookie contract. It's going to be interesting to watch, man. Probably the thing to keep an eye on Wednesday. Flagg will go first, obviously. I think Dylan Harper will follow. Then after that, we'll see what happens, man. But obviously, we're going to get to the mock draft here. Those are some things to watch, though. Is where, if Ace Bailey will fall. Maybe we'll get some surprise draft picks. We'll see. But obviously, Dallas Mavericks are number 1. Cooper Flagg, for more than a year. There's really never been any doubt about which player would go number 1. It was just really about what team would get the first pick. The one and done start at Duke led him in all 5 major categories, becoming the youngest Wooden Award winner in history. He has a high ceiling, high floor. It's hard to imagine him not being a high-level NBA player for more than a decade. He averaged 19, 7, and 4 at Duke, led him in basically every stat, shot 30% from 3. Basically, we've known he'd be the number 1 pick. It was just who would get it. Of course, it's the fucking Mavericks. So, the Spurs here take Dylan Harper with the 2nd pick. He's the consensus number 2 prospect in this draft, and thus should be the 2nd player selected, even if he's not a perfect fit on the roster, or, featuring De'Aaron Fox, the running rookie of the year, Stephen Castle. Those who have noted that could lead to San Antonio. That could lead to them shopping the pick to franchises more in need of a lead guard with nice potential. So keep an eye on that. That could happen, but I think he's going to go with the number 2 pick no matter what. But I'm going to say Spurs will stay here. Number 3, I'm going to go Trey Johnson out of Texas to the Philadelphia Sixers. Some people believe Philadelphia could move this pick for a veteran, given where former MVP Joel Embiid is in his career. That's understandable, but if the Sixers do execute this pick, they shouldn't let the presence of their talented young guards, Tyrese Maxey or Jared McCain on their roster, steer them away from Johnson, the player I believe is the 3rd best prospect, maybe not the 3rd best prospect available, because you could say, I would say Ace Bailey, but the one and done standout, led the all-freshman scoring on 6.8 attempts per game, shot about nearly 40% from 3. Impressive numbers, and that could and I think that could translate and help the Sixers for the future. Hornets, I'm going to say VJ Edgecombe. He's the type of prospect who's both safe and filled with upside after helping Baylor make what was a 6th straight trip to the tournament. Number 5, I'm going to say Jeremiah Fears here. It's maybe a bit of a bold pick. I don't know if many people have him going here. But he's set to join the relatively short list of one-and-done lottery picks. You remember, he was ranked outside the top 60 of their high school classes. His unique ability just to change speeds, keep defenders off balance is too much to ignore. Even if his subpar 3-point percentage is a source of concern for some front offices, 28% from 3, but I think he'll get better at the NBA level. It's just too good to pass right here. But they could go Ace Bailey. We'll see. Number 6, I'm going to have Ace Bailey dropping to 6. Is this me saying I think he's not a top, 3 player? No, but the thing is, with the pre-draft interviews and not having 0 workouts in the top 5, I'm going to say he falls here. His unusual pre-draft process, he still hasn't worked out for any franchise, was leading him falling later, where he probably would go if he had just, done simple workouts. But Washington will be fortunate to watch him slip this far, and if he falls here, you pick him to continue, building your young core over there in Washington. Number 7, I'm going to have the Pelicans taking Con Knueppel, shot about 41% from 3 last year. He was mostly excellent through Duke's run to the Final Four, averaging 19 points while shooting 63.6% from beyond the arc, and a late shooter, obviously. But he's far from only a shooter. Anybody labeling him a little more than a catch and shoot threat is underestimating his versatility to help them. Brooklyn Nets, I'm gonna have him take Kaman Malowach. His otherwise great freshman year concluded horribly, with their season-ending loss to Houston. But that was just one game against the older and stronger team. It shouldn't sour front offices too much on an 18-year-old who can move usually well for a man his size and serve as a true center in a league that is starting to prioritize them again. And the Nets could use a guy like that, Kaman Malowach. Number 9, the Raptors. I think they'll take Derek Queen here, center out of Maryland. Hit that buzzer beater against Colorado that sent Colorado State that sent Maryland to the Sweet 16, scored 27 against the eventual national champion Florida, and solidified himself in the NCAA tournament as an intriguing lottery option here. He's super interesting forward. He has some physical limitations, but he's really skilled. Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns here. I think they take Carter Bryant out of Arizona. Might be a bit of a bold pick here. I don't know if he's a top 10 player, but he's a great. But the NBA playoffs should have reminded everybody how great 3 and D wings impact winning. Bryant has the tools to become one of those. Who played pretty well in his limited role as a freshman at Arizona. The 3-point shooting was good, and he's a good defender as well. Number 11, I think the Portland Trailblazers, they'll take CMB, Colin Murray Boyles. Yes, he's a non-shooting and undersized front court piece, which makes him a diverse prospect, but, he's a he was a 2-year player. South Carolina was really impactful. His feel for the game, his instincts, is a good defender, and many evaluators on the board with a 19-year-old being a lottery pick. So, 16 points, 8 rebounds last year, the only player worth a shit on that team. Bulls, I think, take Kasparis, Jokic. And by the way, with this mock draft, I'm not doing any trades. I don't do trades, really. It's too hard to predict that shit. But I think they'll take Kasparis, Jokic. He needs to clean up the turnovers and shoot better from 3. But we'll see what he does there. Igor Demon at 13 to the Atlanta Hawks. Here, he needs to clean up the turnovers as well. The 3-point percentage is an issue, but I think he could be a good bench player for him. For the Spurs, I think at 14 they take Liam McNeely out of UConn. An ankle sprain cost him more than a month of the season, but he showed enough while on the court to show he's worthy of being a lottery pick. I think the Spurs here at 15 take Thomas Sorbear out of Georgetown. Number 16, the Grizzlies take Cedric Coward. He shot 40% from 3 last year, Washington State. He'd committed to Duke before performing so well at the Combine, he opted to remain in the draft. He's a 6'6" guard who shoots 40% from 3, and I think he can, be a good young piece for them for the future. Timberwolves, Danny Wolf. Ignore that. He's such a good player, man. Danny Wolf, so versatile, and they could set them up to compete in the West for the foreseeable future. Danny Wolf's so versatile, man. If you watched him last year, averaged 13 and 9, about nearly 4 assists a game. He has guard skills and is a better defender than some realize. So yeah, the Wizards again here at 18. Take Joan Beringer out of France, a center. 7'4" wingspan, provides defensive versatility. But there's lot to like. 18. He's another young piece for their future, man. 18-year-old. They have just so many good. They're gonna have a good future, man, with these young players. See if they can develop this guy. 7'4" wingspan. Jace Richardson at 19 to the Brooklyn Nets. They have so many first-round picks. But yeah, I like Jace Richardson. Averaged 12 points per game this past season. Shot 41% from 3. Has high IQ as well. He didn't emerge as a starter until halfway through the season, but he showed himself to be the team's most dynamic scorer, in my opinion. Number 20, the Heat, Nikhil Clifford. Really like this guy here out of Colorado State. 18, 9, and 4. Shot 37% from 3. He's a competent shooter. He's a versatile defender. And I think he could be a nice NBA player. He checks a lot of boxes. And he's 6'5", can shoot the 3 well, and just a good defender as well. 21, the Utah Jazz, Hugo Gonzalez with the 21st pick. So, I mean, I don't know much about this guy, to be honest. The Hawks, Asa Newell, averaged 15 and 6 last season. He'll need to, shoot better from 3, but I think he could be good. He'll be a good lottery pick. Noah Esingui, here at 23 to the Pelicans. He's a fringe prospect with great positional size. It's one of the youngest players available. He's a long-term bat, but if the shot develops and the defensive versatility becomes undeniable, the 18-year-old could be a steal at this point in the draft. Also, it's kind of crazy. He actually left his team today to be at the NBA draft. The Thunder here at 24. There was a report they could move up in the draft. I don't know. We'll see. But I think they'll take Nolan Traore out of France. There's so many French players. Number 25, the Orlando Magic. Whoa, 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 whoa. Take Walter Clayton Jr. Man, the star of that national championship team, averaging 22 points on 43% shooting from beyond the arc in those 6 tournament games. But he's just so good, man, and can help this Magic team. Number 26, the Nets take Will Riley out of Illinois. Jumper's still more streaky than reliable and needs to have strength, at least tummy. And the Nets, once again, here at the 27 pick, take Rasheer Fleming out of St. Joseph's. Averaged 14 and 8 last season, shot 39% from 3. He's a 6'8" forward who can shoot the 3. Number 20, I think the Celtics take Maxime Reynaud out of Stanford. He averaged a double-double last season, 20 and 10, and shot 34%. I mean, he averaged 4.5 as a freshman, then 20 as a senior. His ability to stretch the floor and could really help this team, at least in my opinion. The Suns take Ben Saraf out of Israel. The Clippers take Ryan Kalkbrenner, who averaged 19 and 8 last season, a 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. He's far from what anyone would call a modern center, but if Zach Edey win the top 10 of the draft, there's no reason Kalkbrenner can't go in the top 30. So I think he's better than Zach. But yeah, that's the first mock draft. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the first round of the draft. It's actually 2 nights, by the way, I believe. Not Wednesdays, round 1. Thursday's night 2. I don't know why they did this, to be honest, but it's whatever. I'll be here for night 1 of the draft. Maybe night 2. We'll see. I probably will, but I'm not decided on that. But yeah, that's really got to say here for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So until next time, Acolyte, peace, and have a good night.